Hi everyone, welcome back. For anyone that's new, welcome. If you have joined us before, we're glad to have you back. Today is another episode of one of our food evaluations, and today I thought it would be fun to look into a food that I got asked about specifically last week. And so the food is Eukanuba, but it is the Eukanuba Performance 30/20. And so we get a lot of clients when we ask them what food they feed, they always spout out these terms like 30/20, 10/15, things like that. And so that has to do with the protein fat ratio of a diet. And so this particular client was concerned because she was told by her breeder that this was the best food for her pet and it was a 30/20, but she was concerned because the pet seemed like it was gaining a lot of weight. And so she wanted me to go ahead and evaluate that. So we're going to evaluate that food today, and then we're going to decide if that's appropriate to feed, and if not, we're going to make some suggestions of potential alternatives that will work. So today we are going to do the evaluation of Eukanuba High Performance. Right, here it is. I kind of pulled this up during her appointment to do kind of a quick evaluation, and then I went back and I dug into this particular food a little bit deeper, but this is it. This is the Eukanuba Premium Performance 30/20. This is at PetSmart.com, and it's going to run you $49.49 for a 29-pound bag. And so the first thing that I did, and the first thing you guys should always do, is I went to find the AFCO statement, which was really difficult to find, but I did end up finding it, and it's really tiny, and so we're gonna have to get really close to read it. It was in the middle somewhere. There it was. Okay, so this particular food says the Eukanuba Premium Performance dog food is formulated, so we've got that terminology, formulated, which means that it was not actually fed to dogs to prove that it does what it states it's going to do. So they followed a recipe to meet the nutritional levels established by the AFCO dog food nutrient profiles for all life stages. So we've talked about all life stages before and what it means when you're feeding your pet an all life stage food. It means it's meant for lactating dogs. It's meant for dogs that are in gestation. It means it's for puppies. And so it's got to meet those the most stringent of all life stages to be called an all life stage food. However, this is interesting and was very interesting when I was discussing it with her at the time of her appointment. This food goes on further to say, including for large-sized dogs, 70 pounds or more as an adult. So not only is this food a puppy food, it's a large breed puppy food. And the dog that we were talking about, the dog that we were evaluating this food for, was as an adult, because this dog was already an adult, 40 pounds. And so right then and there, I mean, we pretty much had our mind made up that this was not an appropriate food for this dog because it's for a large breed puppy, which she was not. And then, we kind of went through to evaluate some of the key nutrient ingredients, and so we'll do that now. The one thing I thought was interesting, so again, when you're evaluating these foods, just be really careful at where you look, because on the bag, on the AFCO statement, we know this is a large breed puppy, basically formula, but when you go here to the description on PetSmart's website, they're saying life stage, this is an adult. And so can you feed this food to adults? You can absolutely feed it to adults, but is it an adult dog food? By legal definition, no, it's not. It's a puppy food, basically, and it's moreover a large breed puppy food. And so let's get down to the guaranteed analysis. And so crude protein is 28. They're touting a 30/20, so 30 protein, 20 fat. And so it's 28, but that's a minimum. And so as we talked about before, it can be over 28 when it's a minimum. And so they're saying 30, so it probably is closer to 30. Now, when we grab our little chart here of what we want to be feeding a regular adult routine everyday pet that everybody has, that's not doing agility, that's not herding cattle, that's not doing some sort of performance or some sort of sport, they need to have somewhere between 15 and 30. And so we're at the very high level there, also with the fat at 18. we're at a little bit of the high end of the reference range. And so remember, those are minimums. They could be more. And so this is a reason why this pet was putting on weight, way too much protein and fat. And again, if you have a senior pet and you're giving your pet a high protein food, you're actually going to be causing some issues with the kidneys. And so we want to avoid that particular type of food for that pet. Now again, if you're performance, you're herding cattle, you're doing some crazy agility, dock diving, this may be appropriate for you. And then we get down here to the calcium, and so the calcium is at 1.15%. So again, the calcium is going to be over for an adult dog, but I bet you if we looked at the profile, and I don't know it off the top of my head, but I bet you if we looked for the profile for the large breed puppy, that 1.15% would probably be spot on. Vitamin E is 140. We like it to be over 400. Don't mind my dog barking at the mailman, if you can hear her. So, we'd like that to be higher, but that's not a deal breaker. Doesn't list the phosphorus, but usually if the calcium's over, the phosphorus is also over. So, that's probably the case. So I would say this is a good reason why that food was not working for that pet. It just wasn't the right food for the pet. It's not a bad food. It's just not right for her. And so we talked about doing the same brand, Eukanuba, if she enjoyed the Eukanuba brand, felt comfortable with Eukanuba, switching and doing a food that was actually an adult food. So let's go look up what we suggested, and let me go find out why my dog is barking at the mailman. 1 second. Come here. Come here. Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry for disrupting the video. She's sorry. All right, go lay down. All right, back to work. So let's try sticking with the Eukanuba brand, but let's just pick, there's one right there, adult dog food. Fortunately, the one that I picked is out of stock in Lake City, so can't get it there. This is the Eukanuba Adult Dog Food Chicken, and it's $26.69 for a 16-pound bag, or $44.99 for a 30-pound bag. This says for an adult medium breed dog, which I would say a 40-pound dog, which is what this was a medium breed. So I think this is an appropriate food, at least based just solely on the picture and the verbiage on the front of the bag. Chicken is the first ingredient. And let's go find the AFCO statement. Eukanuba Adult Medium Breed Dog Food is formulated to meet the nutritional levels established by AFCO food nutrient profiles for maintenance. So that is indeed a adult, like it says here, an adult dog food. Now, on a side note, this says for medium-sized dogs. That is not, as far as I'm aware, a legal definition. So there is legal definition for adult. There's a legal definition for puppy. There's a legal definition for large breed puppy. But I'm not aware that medium is specifically outlined. So I'm not sure what guidelines they're following, but it says it's for medium dogs. So we're gonna roll with it. Let's find our ingredients. Chicken, number 1, as promised. Very good. Crude protein, 25%. Now, where is my lucky? Well, not really lucky, but where is my handy dandy chart? All right. Crude protein, 25%. Much more appropriate for this dog. Crude fat, 16%. Right in the middle. Excellent. Calcium, they are not listing calcium, so I'm gonna have to go look that up on a different website, but we'll do that in a second. Vitamin E is interesting. There's actually more vitamin E in this particular formulation than was in the Performance, and so it has 144 international units. I think the other one had 140, both of which are still lower than what we'd like. We'd like over 400, but I just thought that was interesting that there was more vitamin E in the regular food than the Performance food. So fiber at 3.8%, and normally we want it to be less than 5, so that's fine. let me do some research. Just hold tight for a second. I'm going to go find, see if I can find easily available the calcium for the regular adult version. So. Okay, so I couldn't find the calcium level anywhere, but I did find one thing that I thought was a little bit interesting and I think would be a good segue into maybe our next series. And so I couldn't find the calcium, but I was looking through, I found this question and answer section, and it said the question, is this grain free? And it says, I purchased the Eukanuba XL Adult Large Breed Salmon, which is not the food we're talking about, but that's fine. And it is not grain free. It has rice, wheat, and barley. This is not something my finicky dog enjoys eating. And so, granted, this was back in 2017 before we knew the information that we knew now, but grain free is actually not good for your pet. So pets need grain for a healthy heart, basically. So just like you see, on your cereal box, it says for a healthy heart, fiber for a healthy heart. Animals, dogs specifically, need fiber in their diet. And so we've had this whole explosion of grain-free, and it turns out to be actually not good for your pet. So I think we'll go into that maybe in the next series. We'll talk about grain-free and what it means and why it's important to have grain in your pet's food unless specifically prescribed by your veterinarian. The other thing about this was interesting, and we've touched on this before, is it said that the Eukanuba XL Adult Large Breed Salmon is not grain-free. I do not know why the person would assume, maybe because they haven't watched the series, that this food would be grain-free just because it doesn't list grains on the package. So we know that when we're looking at a package and we're reading the description, that just because it says salmon doesn't mean there's only salmon in the package. We know that that means that there's only a percentage of salmon, and then there's a bunch of other things that make up the remaining percentage of the bag. So I know you guys know that, but we're just touching on it because this person did not know that. Okay, back to what we were here to discuss, and that is which food is better, the Eukanuba High Performance or the Eukanuba, just the regular adult medium dog food? And so the answer to that question is depends on your pet. If you have a pet that is doing performance work, then the Performance brand may be perfectly fine. Or if you have a large breed puppy, the Performance version may be perfectly fine. However, for this particular pet that was a 40-pound, essentially couch potato, which there's nothing wrong with that, this food was way too much. And this was the reason why the pet was overweight and the reason why we were asked to do this analysis in the first place. So for this particular pet, the regular adult food was probably a better choice. And I think that's what we decided on and what we switched to. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little video, and I hope you learned something. I think next time we'll get into grain-free, so if that excites you, please hang tight for one of our next episodes of Food Battle or Food Evaluations. And if you like these type of videos, please subscribe. It helps us out and lets us know you enjoy these videos, and we'll see you guys next time.